Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow, and I'm here to talk to you about the subject of what those people who have a fallen nature, who are rebellious, who are full of witchcraft, who are full of deceit and manipulation, who are cunning, in deception, who are cowards, those who try to manipulate things behind the scene. Those who try to move and shake things behind the scenes simply because they don't have any power of their own. You know, we're pretty bad when cowards, sissies, and punks start calling the real men of Yah yes men. Yes. That's something that we deal with. You know, I have a group of elders, and the elders are there for a reason. And let me let you in on how we function here at Straightway. Number one, we as elders, we're there for, now I'm just speaking in the spirit of elders, okay? Accountability. None of us just go out carte blanche and just go off on the deep end and decide to go do things on our own without informing other elders. That doesn't mean that we inform all of them. Because when you look at Jesus, even though he had 12 disciples, he only had 3 of them that was in his special, let me use phrases you're accustomed with, inner circle. And they were Peter, James, and John. These were 3 trusted. These were 3 that had something different in them than all of the other disciples. Not that the others were not disciples, they were. But Peter, James, and John, he always took a little bit further. Peter, James, and John, he revealed to them who he was. Peter, James, and John, they saw him on the Mount of Transfiguration, and they heard the Father speak from Shemaim themselves. Do you understand? So anyway, but accountability one to another, that is paramount in being elders. And yet I got these people out here who try to call our elders yes men to Pastor Dow, simply because, number one, they're very strong in the word, they're strong in the truth, and they support the mission that we're in. Because they unlike all these other people who throw out blanket statements simply because their feelings and emotions are all ate up and they will not submit to biblical terms. And whenever they get upset with these loose lips and everything, what you're gonna pay for, and you're paying for it right now, even in your wickedness and your lack of peace in your life. But there's a greater payment you're going to be paying for it. But they call the elders yes men simply because they are men that are behind me 100% in the ministry. We have checks and balances. I make sure I stay accountable. And even though I have a lot of elders, all right, follow me, and I love them all and I trust them all, but all the elders don't know everything that they need to know about me. Some would love to know more about me, but and that maybe one day they will get there. But right now, all of them are just not there. Simply not there. The Bible says you have a friend, test and prove him, try him. So elders, I have to do the same thing with them too, don't I? So there are some things I share with other elders that I simply don't share with all the elders. I just don't do that. But also, as an elders, we are reliable. We have reliability. We are men of our word. Whatever we say, we do. Period. No ifs, ands, buts, and maybes about it. And if we have elders that fall short of that, I quickly make changes. And I let them know my displeasure of them not being men of their word. And we start to, and if it becomes too consistent, we start making adjustments and stuff. And if it becomes too much out of order, then we just simply set them down. Does that mean they're going to be that they stop being elders? No. Well, that means they're not going to be in the elders meetings. They're not going to be set up here being esteemed in this ministry as elders, men of responsibility that people are supposed to look up to, depend upon, when we can't even trust them and depend upon them ourselves. No, it just don't work like that. Men don't follow titles. Men follow strength. And that's all there is to it. But I've got people that, we have an epidemic in this world. And I don't even know what I really truly want to title this video, but I do want to talk to us. I don't know if I want to call it character, human nature, or whatever it is. But I have people that live here in Tennessee that will call up to Michigan or call other places about something that they may disagree with in the ministry as far as doctrine goes. And the first thing they'll do is they'll start attacking my elders and start calling them yes men. And then as soon as they call up somebody else who is strong in the word, who they're trying to garner favor with and to be allies. And let me tell you something. The one thing I learned about people who have this kind of attitude and spirit, these Jezebels, they're very weak. And they control their men at home, and they can't control real men. And there's no way that a real man will never be ruled, dominated, or controlled by a woman. It will never happen. It will never, ever happen in this world. And I tell you, you got these women today, what do you call, I'm my own woman. I got my own job. I got my own money. I got my own home. I got my own. I do what I want to do, go where I want to go, please. I ain't going to submit to nobody. I ain't covered. And we've dealt with that before in ministry. Some of the women. See, in our ministry, if you're a woman, you're going to be covered. And these women show in many, many ways that they're flat out not going to be covered. Not even by their so-called perceived husband. And most people, women, they don't even have husbands. Of course, you ain't got to worry about it nowadays because, anyway, I ain't going to go on that. Let me go off on that. But anyway, they call them yes men. Can you imagine what they called Joshua and Caleb because they stuck so close to Moses? Can you imagine what they called Jonathan, who stuck so close to David? Can you imagine what they probably called Peter, James, and John? Because we read about their writings in the renewed covenant. Can you imagine with this kind of attitude and spirit? And yet and still, this is what's amazing to me. Yet and still. Now, the reason why I make these videos because I want you people out there to think. Now, it's your option. You don't have to think. You don't. You can continue to keep functioning the way you want to. You can build relationships off feelings and emotions rather than facts, hardline facts. But it's up to you. It's totally up to you. But don't expect for us to agree with your choices and decisions, especially when we have actually put out an edict, what should be done concerning this ministry. You don't want to comply with it, that's your choice. But also realize this, that means that we also have the choice and we will exercise the option to not comply with you, fellowship with you, or put up with you. That is our option as well. So, we live in a world like that. It's a free world. But can you imagine all these people who are submitting to these godly leaders? And then you get these Jezebels and these Ahabs, these spineless Ahabs that behind the scene, they go spit in everybody else's ear concerning doctrinal issues that they don't have enough testicular fortitude, and Jezebel don't have testicular fortitude. Jezebel is always trying to look for an Ahab to control. And see, we're dealing with a different Jezebel in this generation. See, Jezebel's already done castrated her man at home. So what she seeks to do is go out and to get other men who have power and strength to side with her. And of course, in this ministry, which is a patriarchal ministry. This ministry is a patriarchal ministry. You're going to meet up against Jehu. And when you meet up against Jehu, you know what happens, don't you, Jezebel? But it's amazing. It's amazing what happens. But yeah, I guess you can call them yes men when it comes to obedience. And one thing about it is that they are very strong in this word. And that is the truth. And that's the true straight way. What would it benefit the assembly? What would it benefit the world? What would it benefit us here straightway, the ministry, if every time we stood on the word, we took it for a vote like the Christians do to see if it's okay with the people of the church? No, the hell with that crap. That ain't gonna never happen to here. The die's already been cast. You don't like it? See ya. Because one thing we're not about to do, we're not about to bend. We're not about to bow to any woman, especially a woman who thinks or presumes that she knows his word. Any way, shape, fashion, or form. And we definitely are not going to hear from no effeminate Ahab man who has little or no respect whatsoever at all. Don't even know how to be a man. You can forget that. So, call them yes men, be it will, whatever you want. One thing about it is they strong, but you won't call them yes men to their face. I guarantee you won't do that. And that's the truth. And that's the true straight way.